Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Dr. Stone. We are now on season 3, episode 7, which is called Ray of Despair, Ray of Hope. I don't think I've ever heard Ray of Despair before, but I guess we're going to find out what that means in this episode. In the last episode, we saw that the team is still headed towards the island to get the treasure box, and they encountered their first storm, but the ship seems to be holding up just fine, outside of a few nervous people, but Senku now thinks this is a good time for them to figure out if there are inhabitants still on the island, and if so, how many, because they'll have the shield of cover that the storm is providing so that they'll be able to come up stealth-like in such a big object. So I'm excited to find out what they're going to find on this island, so let's jump into the episode. But just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be in the know of when I drop these episodes, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. You think so? Right, exactly. Oh, that doesn't mean that they haven't. Look at all the capitalists. Uh-oh. What do we pick up? Oh, the rocks. Maybe we don't get too close. Because I'm looking, that's a lot of rocks there near the shore. We don't want to end up getting, we don't want to run aground. Honestly, I'll be so upset if they run aground and they end up having to spend half the season getting the ship ready again. Fucksu! Oh, sorry, wrong language. Wow, Magma, let's stay on the, thank you. That makes sense. Recon team. Period. That's true. We need a navigator. I thought so. Kohaku was not leaving her man. That makes sense. Well done. That's actually a very smart team to put together. That's who I would have picked. Senku, bro, we need to get you on an exercise plan. It's too late now. My guess is that Suika must not have anybody on the island, because why would she leave? Something alive? Can we specify? I don't like that. The deep blue sea is not a place to mess around. And he does seem to be a good swimmer. So they've been tossing them into the water. Good point. I didn't think of that. Are they sure, though, that it's a new petrification? I mean, they assume no one lived there, but maybe there were people there. I mean, is there any place that's fully uninhabited at this point? Rich people be buying up islands all the time. Okay, they were right about the timelines. I was wrong. Why didn't we see? So they have a beam. Of course. Bro, we need to get you on a plan. Seriously, Senku. Oh, Senku's gonna be pissed. Yup. He's like, really? Seriously? Gen's getting smart. Because you knew you were gonna fly off and not listen. Right? Think this through. Gotta keep your eyes on your eyes on the hands of a man like that. Oh, that's why you got sent away? Yeah, there's only so much you can remember. Exactly. Some anime plot right there. That is the way to go. Indeed.
敵か味方か分かりゃしねえがな。
That's true, you're just gonna have to do your recon.
貝がポイされてからせいぜいまだ10分20分。
Okay, you said I am a scientist. Pay attention.
科捜研のヒーロータイムだ。
Slow ass forensics.
科学捜査のスタートだ。
Got Law and Order, Stone Age edition.
女、中肉、中背。
You can tell it's a woman from a fingerprint. I highly doubt that.
てめえの仕事だ、メンタルデカ。
And also, it could be a large person with small hands. You don't know.
全部仮説よ、仮説。
Why is Gen barefoot, by the way?
拾わないでしょ、バテちゃうし。集めてから銀見ってプレイングには
Damn, it's called efficiency.
できるだけ多くだ。そしてこれを遠心分離機にかけ。
And do what?
そんなものどこ
I'm just trying to figure out what you need her hair for.
ここに
Are you testing to see if she's had a baby? You think that's Soyuz's mom?
特に見てえのが花粉だ。
Okay.
そくらいは作れる。さて、何が見えるかお楽しみだ。
You were carrying that in your backpack?
内陸の山を生活圏にしてる。
は、凄まじいな科学捜査とは。
They're terrifying.
君らが組んだ追跡からは誰一人逃れら
I
れないな。
mean, there's some who could, but it'd be hard. Right? Breathe quieter. Jeez.
あれ
Just
が
panting.
どっちにせよ接触して情報を引き出すっきゃ手
I was about to say, one way or another, you're gonna have to talk to her. Same shoes.
若い女子ビンゴ。
どうする？捕らえるか？
I think so.
友好的に行こうじゃねえか。
You might regret it.
見て仲間にする。
ああ。
Maybe she's happy where she
唯
is.
一の手がかりだからな。
That's true.
難易度高そう。また引くほど美人ちゃん
I was
だ
about to
し
say,
メンタリ
How
スト
long
の
before somebody flirts with her?
どういう状況？
Well, yeah, she's a popular lady.
では見よう。
Right? She's like, actually, this is like a little soap opera that I can watch. So shush. Exactly.
どうしよう。
So many lilies. Calla lily's my favorite.
じゃないよアマレリス。
Amaryllis.
この島で一番
Isn't that that's a flower, no? Uh-huh. I knew she was a faker.
当主様に逆らえばみんなどんな姿にさせ
So
られる。
whoever's running it's doing this.
この最後の日に思いを伝えたかったのだ。
Last day before she goes.
早速チラ見えしてきたじゃねえか。俺らの倒すアークの親玉が
We'll
よ。
make sure she's not working with him.
協力してくれるかも。でも
I think he needs to learn a little bit more about her
こういうのって第一印象
first.
で9割決まっちゃうから最初の挨拶は慎重に。
Yes. Give very little away.
いつものことだせ。
That's true. Senku's not a beat around the bush kind of guy. He doesn't even like small talk.
仲間のためならそういうとこジーマーで
I feel like that's the best way to go, honestly, at this point.
当主様なんか思い出せるソユーズちゃん。
I was one when I left. One!
私、一目見た時からあなたの
Who? Are you talking about his daddy, maybe?
聞かした
He's petrified. I mean, something is probably quite stiff and firm at the moment.
あえて言うなら、こっちの男が私たちの当主だな。
This woman!
包み込むような優しく、もうなくて悪い。
Damn! Sis, please, turn down the hussy. We're okay. You're a scammer, we know.
俺には今すぐ聞くけどね。
He's like, go ahead and flirt with me. I'm here too.
一瞬信じちゃいそうになっちゃ
じ
う。そんなに抱きつかれたいのなら私がしてやる。
Oh, wow. Not the bicep. Damn.
しよう。私が全員切って止める。
Yeah, do it.
終わりでしょそんなんしたら
Ruining everything how?
クロロアセトン。
That.
わかりやすくいや最
Oh, damn.
これでおとなしく
Heroes need something to make them go to sleep or some laughing gas.
すごい。妖術。何者なのあなたたち。
Sorcery. Okay, we're not that advanced here.
みんなを助けるために島一の美少女になってやるって。
That was the plan?
あなたたちの力が欲しい。
Alright, primitive, but I guess it might work. Island's most beautiful girl has joined the party. I love it. Okay, that was easy. They didn't even have to do any work to convince them. She's like, I was actually already on a mission. Y'all are actually in my way, but since we're here, let's work together. I like it. Quick, efficient. But I'm sorry, I had to cackle at her trying the same approach to flirting with these men. Like, oh, she almost, actually, poor Gen didn't even get the pitch. But that is absolutely hilarious. But I like that she also confirmed that Soyuz is definitely one of them, right? Like the look of him, she's like, he looks like someone that she's seen before. And the backpack he's wearing, we saw somebody else in the village wearing. So clearly, I don't know if that's just maybe a tribe that's there, but I didn't even think about that there might be multiple villages on this island because it's the one that's most established compared to what's on the mainland, right? So, or what I assume to be the mainland. So yeah, good episode. We see that unfortunately there's another petrification beam, and how the heck it ended up on this island of all places is crazy. This opens up so many more questions for me because, well, from what we saw of the flashback last season of Bayuka and also Senku, both of them believe that the petrification, the larger one, originated out of South America. So how do we have one that's clearly on a smaller scale? Because if it was bigger, then everyone would have been repetrified in the other village. But it looks like it's a focus beam, which means probably it's either an earlier version of the one that eventually did the whole world, or it's been continuously refined to a point where it's something that's smaller. I don't know. But either way, how did it end up here? And how long have they had it? Right? Because I heard, we heard in the beginning of the episode that when, what's his name? When Yukio was looking for like when he noticed that there's something on their sonar and he went and had them look and find statues, he was like, this doesn't make sense, because he's like, these statues are recent. He's like, when the rocket landed here thousands of years ago, it was an uninhabited island. So how are there so many fresh statues here? And as you heard me say in the episode, I was like, well, it's possible that they just assumed it was uninhabited. Maybe it wasn't, right? Because back in the day, right, or I should say back in the day, in our current times, right, because we're supposed to assume that the petrification happened at least in somewhat of our modern time. There's very little of the world that's truly undiscovered anymore, right? Like there may be islands that are not inhabited, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people on them, right? There's so many rich people who own islands for their own purposes. There are islands that are fronts for things, or they seem uninhabited, but there's stuff going on them, if you know what I mean. And also, people just explore. Like people will be out in boats or whatever, and they'll see a little island. They'll just go over there and decide to have a little party or chill out or whatever on the place, then go back to wherever they live. So point being, there's a lot of reasons why there could be bodies or people near those islands, but in this particular case, we see that that's not the case. These are actually people who've been petrified recently. This is not something that happened from the first blast. So anyways, we see that unfortunately, by the time they figure out this timeline and get this information, it's too late. Someone discovered them and decided to petrify them. They thought they had come to the island quietly, but I guess someone must have caught sight. I mean, it's a big boat. It's not the easiest thing to miss, especially the next day when everything, if you've ever seen a sky after a storm, it's crystal clear. You can see for miles. So yeah, unfortunately, someone figured out they were there and decided to just petrify them rather than figure out what was going on. And it looks like Suika managed to just escape because of Ryushi. But what I think is very interesting there is that, yes, Suika is on board. She was not shown in the last episode. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. On the one hand, I agree with Ryushi, like this is not the place for a small kid, but I also get the sense that Suika doesn't have a family. Like that's one thing last season, the last 2 seasons actually, we've never seen Suika refer to a mom or a dad or anyone looking for her outside of Kohaku. So I'm thinking she must be an orphan. And so if that's the case, then, Suika, I mean, she could have stayed with Ruri to be fair, but we've seen it. Like Suika's a little adventurer. There's no way she'd want to sit back and, not be on the adventure. So she somehow snuck on board, which shows again her point of being good at reconnaissance. Case in point, she made it onto the ship and no one even noticed that she was on there until they were well out to sea. But anyway, we see that she did just manage to escape before the beam went off. So my guess is if Ryushi was actually actively trying to kick her off the boat, he must have seen who had the beam. So whoever's on the ship, all the people on the ship know who the culprit is or know what the device is, but of course they can't talk right now. So yes, on the island, we now have the search part, or the landing party, I should say. The 4 that are still there, they are not, well, 5, because Suika's there. They don't know about Suika yet, but do they? No, Suika's not with them yet. So there's 5 of them, and they basically are trying to figure out who they can follow. They figured out that there's a human that they can follow right off the bat, and they've now bumped into this girl, Amaryllis, and I'm almost positive, I'd have to look it up, I think Amaryllis is a flower. So maybe it looks like maybe all the names on this island are going to be flower people, or could just be per village. But either way, they bumped into her. She's very pretty, and she's clearly the talk of the village. Everyone wants to marry her, but she's saying that she's going to be taken to the master to become one of his brides. And so it's sounds like there's someone running this place that's making Hyoga and what's his name from last season, Tsukasa, look like angels in comparison. And yeah, basically once the landing party introduced themselves to her and she realizes that they're not from there, that they're actually from someplace else, she discloses the fact that she actually is trying to take this master down because she's like, anybody who goes up against this guy or tries to stand up against him, he petrifies them. So that's the way he's maintaining control over us right now. And obviously it looks like things are not exactly just. Let's put it that way. It looks like he's running things pretty corruptly. So she wants to put an end to it, but she figured the best way to do it was to do it from inside the belly of the beast. So she was planning on being taken as one of his brides and then basically getting close enough to figure out the secret of the beam. And then I don't know what she planned to do, whether to take him out or take out the beam. We're not sure, but either way, that was her plan. And now that she sees that these guys are here and they're not part of the whole, what would you call it, society of this island and possibly not working with this man, she's like, let's all work together because like, since I can infiltrate, you guys can help me. And so this is good because this is exactly what Senku needs. Senku needed somebody that knew the island, who knows how things work on this, you know, as far as their politics, as far as their interactions, but more importantly, if she's aware of where the beam is and potentially how it works, that's 80% of the work that Senku has to do, right? Because that's what he wants to find out. It's also telling me though that if they figure something out with the petrification beam they find here, there'll be no reason for them to keep going to South America, will there? Right? Because he'll be able to, well, actually maybe. Because I'm just thinking he figures out how the beam works and he can reverse engineer it to somehow like either turn everybody back or at least figure out how to disable it so it doesn't. That's probably it. Actually, now that I've just walked through it, that might be his reason. Because I was going to say, if he figures everything out where that's concerned, is there really a reason for him to sail across the world, right? He can just go back to Ishigami Village and, and just figure out what to do. But whatever the case may be, there still is the belief system that South America is the origin point of the massive worldwide one. And yeah, knowing Senku, he's not going to be okay with not going and seeing if that machine still exists and making sure that it never goes off again, right? So anyway, that's what we have there now. We have this girl, Amaryllis. She's going to be part of the party. And as I said, we don't know much at all about this village thus far. Just that, as Senku said, that there's a faction who are potentially hostile. And I'm thinking whoever the master leader, whatever this place is, it has the beam. He's the person who's doing that. And then we've got people who probably are very clearly not okay with the fact that he petrifies people who don't go along with him and are doing their best to fight against it. And that's apparently what happened to Soyuz, is that I'm assuming his mother, or at least some family, they tried to escape this island so they wouldn't have to face the petrification. And I don't know what happened. Obviously, he's the only one who made it, but it just proves that there are resistance people here. And those are the people, obviously, that Senku is going to have to get in touch with and hopefully help him to figure out how to get to this man and overthrow him so he can get his hands on the beam. So we're kind of getting a little bit of a repeat of what we had of season 1 as far as Senku having to find people to go up against Tsukasa. This time it's going to be finding people to help him go up against this master. And of course, since it's just him now, he's going to have to figure out what he can do using science to give himself the advantage over this man and, you know, do all that while somehow staying out of the way of that beam. Because that's the big thing. If that beam hits him, it's game over, right? So yeah, that, and also he has to figure out a way to make sure they don't end up on his ship, right? Because that lab that he needs so badly is on there. And I don't know, whoever did the beam, I have a feeling they're going to send somebody out to check the ship. And if they see that lab and see all that stuff, God knows what they'll do to it. So yeah, the stakes have suddenly gone up very quickly. We went from just, oh, this is going to be cool and exploring, to now there are stakes and there is some real villainry afoot. So I'll have to see how things work out, how our group's able to make this work with their new member. And we find out more about Amaryllis, obviously, I think in the next, and we'll most likely find out more about Amaryllis in this world. And we'll also likely find out a bit more about Amaryllis and this island and how everything is set up here as well. It'll be interesting to see how things have gone in this island for all these years. Like, are they really on par with Ishigami Village, or are they somehow advanced because they had more stuff and that's where the starting point was? Or are they potentially being sent back, or did they get a big setback because you've had people like this master who've just decided for everybody how much they get to know? You know what I'm saying? So I got questions, is my point. This definitely sparked a lot more questions and more interest, so I'm very much looking forward to the next episode. But I enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.